Taylor, it's a problem a lot of pro sports leagues are facing right now. Is this shorter tournament a better solution for MLS?
Well, yes, because twofold, you get the attention of the players. You also get the attention of the technical staffs. But more so in this bigger picture, Seb, when you really think about it, I think it's because a lot of markets now and a lot of those state departments and governors are saying, listen, you can play in these markets, albeit without fans. So you have a shorter tournament in Orlando. I look at it and say, well, that may mean more games in your markets. Now, as of you and I talking, only Chicago and San Jose are the only two MLS teams that have not begun individual training. So I look at this proposal as MLS looking at down the future and looking into the crystal ball saying, you know what, we may be able to play more games in our home markets than we initially thought.
Taylor, let me ask you this from like a player perspective. Which would you rather? Should this tournament be tied to a regular season down the road, or would you like to see it just stand alone? I'll say this, as a fan, if they're going to do this, I kind of want it to stand alone.
Why so, Seb?
Because I don't think you can honestly tie it into a regular season. I think it's difficult to plan to tie it into a regular season that we don't know will happen.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Seb. Obviously, if you tie it into the regular season, you have to be pretty sure, if not 100% sure, that you're going to play another 15, 20 games in your respective markets. That I agree with. On the other hand, there's no handbook during a global pandemic. We've never done this. No one's ever done this. So you've got to be progressive in your thinking on how do you make this important. Now, I've said from the beginning, at the minimum, the winner of this tournament is a CONCACAF Champions League berth. Now, whenever that may be, because CONCACAF Champions League is on hold as we speak, but you've got to put something at the end of it. Now, if it was up to me, and I've said this to you already, I would actually say no pay cuts to the winners. Like, put a monetary value to this, but you also got to make sure that if everyone's playing 3 games, 5 games in the group stage, whatever that number may be, and then you're going to play 15, 18, 20 games, you need to make them worth it. Otherwise, then it's just really a preseason tournament, and I'm not so sure that's the return that Don Garber and the Board of Governors really want. I understand what you're saying, but if you have this tournament and Seb, you know a regular season's going to happen after it, then I think you want to make the games important. Otherwise, I'm not sure you're going to get the full attention of the players and staffs.
Taylor, I'll give it to you. I love your idea of having these guys play for more money or to lose less money, but do you think the players would go for it?
No, the players wouldn't. I think there's a lot of players that have actually heard me say this already. They've tweeted me. They're like, you're completely out of your mind. I'm just saying, if you announce it before the tournament, Seb, and this was at the time when the league was asking for a 20% pay cut and say the winners get CONCACAF Champions League and no one takes a pay cut, that all of a sudden becomes interesting. But will the players go for it? I'm not totally sure they will.
You mentioned the proposed pay cut. The latest report suggests that that's now down to 10%. We compare that to what we heard, a few months ago, and this isn't obviously what was settled on, but Barcelona, we're talking about 70% pay cuts for some of their biggest earners. 10% in that nature sounds like a good deal, Taylor. Is it, though?
I think it is, Seb. I think it is. And listen, I am talking to you as a player. I'm not talking to you as an owner. I'm not talking to you as a spokesperson for the league. This is a global pandemic. There is no handbook. So when you see the players like Messi in Barcelona, and yes, I get it, he makes over $100 million a year. I understand all that. And when you're making $100,000 a year, 10% is a massive cut. I get that. I understand it. But it's 10%. I mean, look at what Major League Baseball just offered those players. You don't think they would take a 10% pay cut right now? And that includes everyone making the minimum in that league. And I get it, there's different numbers, but as a whole, we came into 2020, Seb, and there was a massive undertone between the league and the players that it was a partnership. I understand extending the current CBA an extra year because you have to, because of what the global pandemic has brought, but 10%, I'm not sure there's left to argue about. Now, the health and the protocols down in Orlando tournament, I think that's more important than the pay cut, quite honestly, because I think the safety of the players is at the utmost responsibility of the league, and that's at the forefront of everyone's mind. But if you're asking me right now, 10% pay cut as a player, I think I'm signing the deal.
Great stuff, Taylor. Look, if you want more from Taylor, just check out his new show, Banter with Taylor Twellman. The latest guest, Leipzig's Tyler Adams, talking U.S. men's national team and much, much more.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.